So here's my big takeaways from NFL free agency day number one. The Saquon Barkley news was the one that I think floored most people because he went in the division to the Philadelphia Eagles. If you're a Giants fan, and I grew up in a family of Giants fans, my dad dating back to the Yankee Stadium Giants days. I haven't talked to my dad today, haven't texted him. I'm sure he's going to be very upset because Saquon was kind of the face of the franchise over the last 5 or 6 years, and there was so much hope that he could be part of the turnaround when they got good again. And I understand if you're a Giants fan, that's kind of been the lone bright spot. He's been a star. He's been dynamic when healthy. And now he leaves for the freaking Eagles. It's killer. At the same time, I think emotionally it's hard to digest. Pragmatically, I think the Eagles can have him. And I say that because that's 3 years. That's guaranteed money in there. And you've got to bet that Saquon is going to stay healthy over the next 3 seasons because clearly you're making this move to win right now. Now, the Eagles fell apart at the end of last season. I think Christian McCaffrey really helped out the Saquon Barkley market. And I think the Giants, you can't say today that they're better without him. But I think what you can say is the Giants have so many holes. Investing that type of money in the running back position, especially a guy that's been in the league for 6 seasons, is just not smart. It's just not logically smart. And that goes against us as fans. It's really hard to think pragmatically about things and not emotionally. And you're not really embracing Daniel Jones. There is no other guy that you really feel great about as a star linchpin of the team right now. But man, Joe Shane and Brian Dable have a lot of holes to fix. They've got a lot of places to patch up. And allocating that type of money to a veteran running back who's been unable to stay healthy for most of his career, you just can't. It's illogical. And that's why when they drafted him, number 2 overall, when they did, it's the wrong time. You need to draft that guy at the end of a rebuild, not at the beginning. And they didn't do so. Dave Gettleman, that's a black eye for him. And while Saquon meant to do the right things in the community, be a Giant forever, it's just unrealistic in today's day and age, to me, to keep a running back beyond the first 5 years. B, when you leave for in the division money for the Eagles, it's going to be hard for people to get over. And I saw my former colleague Tiki Barber say, "You're now dead to me, Saquon." Tiki is not known for that type of visceral reaction, but I think that's how a lot of Giants fans feel today. Howie Roseman, good luck keeping Saquon healthy because the clock is ticking, man. That's a lot of money, and he's got a hard time staying on the field. Second thing, Kirk Cousins. I think, honestly, there's been a bit of a boomerang effect in the media about Kirk Cousins. Kirk's a really nice guy. I've said this often on my radio show. I would trust him if I went on vacation to take in my mail, to water my plants, to make sure there's nothing sketchy happening in my neighborhood, in my yard, at my door, around my car. But I don't want him as my franchise quarterback. And I think the boomerang has been that it was convenient to rip on Kirk Cousins because he couldn't win a big game and because he wasn't a next level quarterback and athlete in a day and age of next level quarterbacking and athletes. And then as the criticism reigned in and he continued to be such a nice guy, and then he did that whole chain thing and he's kind of like cool Kirk Cousins and he's in on the joke, which is great. I think the boomerang effect was now media members went to his defense because they felt as though there was too much criticism unfairly on him. And I just look at it squarely like this. Do I think I can win a Super Bowl with Kirk Cousins? Definitively no. Definitively no. Do I think I can get the playoffs with him? Sure. And if that's all you're looking for, then that's fine. But I look at the money that the Atlanta Falcons gave him. No doubt, the Falcons had no quarterback last year in Desmond Ridder. They've been searching for one since after Matt Ryan. They're desperate for one, and Kirk Cousins is a starting quarterback in the NFL. He's a top 15, top half starting quarterback in the NFL. He puts up good numbers. But a 7-10 Falcons team without a quarterback last year is a 9-8 one with Kirk Cousins. Minus Kirk Cousins last year, they're 7-10. They missed the playoffs. With Kirk Cousins, they're 9-8. They're out in the wild card round. I really believe that. And I know that he's got weapons. Bijan Robinson and Kyle Pitts and Drake London. And they've got pieces, and maybe a new coaching staff helps elevate everybody. But I don't know how you look at Kirk Cousins' career and keep believing that he's anything more than a good regular season quarterback, a very good regular season quarterback. But ultimately, when competition gets bigger and better, he's not the guy to elevate you. And it wasn't that long ago that they won the division, had a home playoff game, and a Daniel Jones-led Giants team scored more points than him. And the final play of the game is him double-checking down to a fullback, a tight end of the backfield that came up well short of the sticks. I just don't think the Falcons got that much better with this. I think it's worth 2 or 3 wins, but that's not significant enough to me to invest that type of cash. The one deal that I really liked, actually, and I'm going to go against the grain a little bit from what I said about Saquon Barkley, is the Josh Jacobs deal for the Packers. Because I think Jacobs has a little bit more tread left on the tire than Saquon. And I think Jacobs for the Packers, I honestly think that the Packers that's an upgraded running back over Aaron Jones. And the Packers might be Josh Jacobs away from really being formidable in the NFC. And this is the only time that I would be willing to spend money on a running back is when I thought they were a final piece. I know the Eagles feel like, Saquon might be the final piece. I just don't think that they're Saquon away. I thought there were other issues for the Eagles down the stretch last year, and they proved that they're able to run the football effectively when everybody's pulling the same direction with guys that you don't have to pay nearly as much money for. I think for the Packers, with that quarterback, that receiving core, that offensive line, or that defense, if you have a 1,400-yard, 12-touchdown Josh Jacobs this year, the Packers could be the second best team in the NFC. And I don't know what the hangover is going to be for the Niners, but I think if you are right in that upper tier of Niners, Eagles, Packers, and let's see if Nick Sirianni can coach, I think you could be the second best team in the NFC. And maybe if the Niners have a bit of a hangover, you're the best team in the NFC. I really believe that highly in the Packers this year. So that's why I understood that most. I only believe in spending money on running backs or high draft picks of running backs if that is your final piece of the puzzle. And I think it's close for that to be the case for the Packers.